Hi everyone, welcome back to the Animal Alphabet Challenge. You can see the results of previous episodes flashing across the screen, but we are up to episode K of this challenge, where each video take 5 to 10 minutes or so to do either just a single sketch or a series of sketches using a black Sharpie marker pen and some mixed media paper to draw an animal that I don't normally draw. So this week it's going to be a kangaroo, and you can see I've started out with some fairly tentative line work, just beginning to outline the head and the shape of the ears. Now, when working with a marker pen, one of my strong recommendations is to start out with broken lines, because it gives the drawing more life, but also it allows you a little bit of flexibility later on in the drawing if you need to correct something as well, because I'm using an indelible marker pen here, so there's not going to be any erasing going on. And although I could paint over the lines, painting over sections of a sketch of this style to cover up a mistake, it you're kind of losing the purity of the sketch, really. So the aim is to either minimize mistakes, or if I do make them, to incorporate them into the final sketch. And so with that in mind, for the most part, you can see I'm keeping the lines relatively broken. But we're starting to get the beginnings of the torso of this kangaroo and the front limbs kind of just hanging down loosely. So I got the reference image I'm using from Pixabay, the royalty-free website, which again, if you're a fellow artist and you want to check that out, then it's well worth doing so. But notice I'm avoiding, almost all detail here. So I don't know the technical term for the front paws of a kangaroo, but they're almost hand-like in some ways. So if you're ever painting human hands or paws or anything really, I would recommend treating them as if they're mittens, unless you've got a particular digit, a thumb or a finger, which is kind of going off at a weird angle, and then you can just highlight in your drawing that particular digit. So when I say highlight, I mean you can draw that in detail, but treat the rest of the hand as if it was a mitten, and that's a really efficient way of capturing what's going on without getting bogged down in the complexities of how all the different fingers and stuff kind of interplay with each other. But while I was chatting away there, you can see I've got the rest of the body in and the upper part of the rear legs, these powerful rear legs and tail, which the kangaroo uses to bound along, in the Australian outback. Now, perhaps a little bit unusually for a drawing of a kangaroo, the rear feet are kind of buried in the grass here. So I'm going to go with the reference and do that. And that kind of helps locate the animal in its environment. And now, having kind of got the proportions reasonably well defined and got the line work done, the weight of the animal's distributed quite well, I can start to add a little bit of tone. So we've got some dark areas in the ears. And then, now that the face of the kangaroo is quite small in this drawing, I'm just using an A4 piece of paper, and the nib of my pen is fairly bulky compared to that size. So just going to do a reasonably simplistic capture of the face. So the eyes are in shadow, so I've just depicted those shadow areas, but being careful to keep the shape of the shadows fairly accurate. Pop the nose and the mouth in, and then just a few lines and a little bit of shading to make the head come to life and make it three-dimensional, but being careful not to overwork that area. And having done that, I can now be a little more free and a little bit looser to work around the body and just pick out areas of either mid-tone or dark tone, again to create this illusion of 3 dimensions. But it's a really fun challenge, this one, the kangaroo. As I said, I don't think I've done one before at all. If I have, I've completely forgotten it. So it's really refreshing just to take these few minutes and capture something which I haven't tried before. Because when you paint, because I paint quite a lot of cows and sheep and horses, and when you do that, you get to kind of know the animal by repeatedly drawing it. So there's a slight danger of slipping into habitual ways of doing things. So this is why I'm doing this animal alphabet challenge. It's kind of like refreshing the eyes and refreshing the way the brain works, and it's a fresh thing to tackle. So you're forced to look at something more objectively rather than subjectively, because once we start looking subjectively with our drawing, there's a danger we're not seeing what's actually there, and we'll start painting what we expect. And so that's what I'm trying to avoid, in my work in general. But that's why it's been good fun to do this challenge, and continues to be good fun. So there's the kangaroo placed within the long grass. So I put my little signature there, and I take a little bit of consideration where I put my signature. I try to do it so that it doesn't detract from the main image, and sometimes maybe it will enhance the image. A quick horizon line, and there's the finished sketch. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. Hope to see you in the middle of next week for the next episode of the Animal Alphabet Challenge. Thanks very much for watching.